Did you know that homelessness in Iowa surged by 56% in just 2 years, leaving thousands unsheltered? Even more shocking, many individuals are forced to sleep on footpaths, rummage through trash bins for food, and endure violence simply for existing. This crisis is not just a statistic. It's a human tragedy unfolding before our eyes. Welcome to Globe Path Travel Documentary, the channel that takes you beyond the landscapes into the untold stories of humanity. Today, we unravel a hidden crisis unfolding in the heart of America. In Iowa, homelessness in 2025 has become more than just a statistic. It's a harsh reality for thousands. From the struggles of those living on footpaths to the devastating grip of addiction and the heartbreaking search for food in trash bins, this episode sheds light on the unseen battles for survival. Join us as we delve into the root causes of this crisis, hear the voices behind the numbers, and explore the efforts, both failing and succeeding, to bring about change. This is the story of Iowa's homeless, raw, real, and a reality that demands attention. Let's dive into this video, uncovering the harsh realities of Iowa's homelessness crisis. But before we start, if you're new to Globe Path Travel Documentary and haven't subscribed yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Your support helps us continue bringing impactful stories to light. Number 1. The struggle for survival. Life on the footpath. In 2025, Iowa's homelessness crisis has reached an unimaginable scale, leaving thousands to endure life on the footpaths. These individuals, stripped of their homes and dignity, face relentless challenges every single day. The footpath becomes their bed, the open sky their roof, and the streets their battlefield. The harsh winters of Iowa are unforgiving, with temperatures plummeting to dangerous lows. Homeless individuals wrap themselves in tattered blankets and cardboard, desperately trying to shield themselves from the biting cold. Summers bring their own torment as the scorching heat beats down on them, leaving many dehydrated and vulnerable to heat-related illnesses. But the physical challenges are only the beginning. The streets are rife with dangers. Violence, theft, and harassment are constant threats. Many homeless individuals live in fear, knowing that their vulnerability makes them easy targets. The isolation is equally devastating. Society often turns a blind eye, treating them as invisible or unworthy of attention. In 2025, the struggle for survival has intensified. Shelters are overwhelmed, unable to accommodate the growing number of homeless individuals. Resources are stretched thin, leaving many to fend for themselves. They scavenge for materials to create makeshift beds and rely on the kindness of strangers for a meal or a moment of safety. This is not just homelessness. It is a daily battle against the odds, a fight to retain humanity in a world that seems to have forgotten them. The footpath is not just a place to sleep. It is a symbol of resilience, a testament to the strength of those who refuse to give up despite the overwhelming challenges they face. Number 2. The dark grip of addiction. The dark grip of addiction. In 2025, Iowa's homelessness crisis has become more than just a struggle for shelter. It's a battle against addiction that tightens its grip on the most vulnerable. As despair deepens, many turn to drugs and alcohol, not for pleasure, but for survival. It's an escape, a temporary relief from the pain of hunger, isolation, and hopelessness. For those living on the streets, addiction is not always a choice. It's often a consequence. The trauma of losing everything, the constant rejection from society, and the unbearable loneliness push individuals toward substances that offer a fleeting sense of comfort. But what begins as a momentary escape quickly spirals into a vicious cycle. In 2025, the availability of cheap, highly addictive substances has worsened the crisis. Synthetic opioids, methamphetamine, and alcohol are easily accessible, spreading through homeless communities like wildfire. Many find themselves trapped, unable to break free from the dependency that further isolates them from help. The consequences are devastating. Health deteriorates rapidly, with overdoses becoming alarmingly common. Emergency rooms are overwhelmed. Shelters struggle to provide support, and rehabilitation programs remain out of reach for most. Without intervention, addiction continues to push individuals further into the depths of homelessness, making recovery seem impossible. But addiction is not just a symptom. It's a cry for help. It's the silent plea of those who have been abandoned by the system, ignored by society, and left to fend for themselves in a world that refuses to acknowledge their suffering. Until real solutions are implemented, affordable rehabilitation, mental health support, and housing stability, the cycle will continue, claiming more lives and deepening the crisis. The question remains, how long will we allow this epidemic to grow before we take action? Number 3. Searching for food. The unseen fight. In 2025, Iowa's homeless population faces a grim reality, one that is both shocking and heartbreaking. In a world where food waste reaches staggering levels, thousands of individuals are forced to scavenge for survival. Behind restaurants, in garbage bins, and amidst trash heaps, they search for remnants of discarded meals, hoping to find something edible before hunger consumes them. The sight is unsettling. People digging through piles of waste, competing with rats and stray animals for scraps. The smell of rotting food fills the air, but desperation overrides disgust. Each bite is a triumph, but it comes at the cost of dignity. Once, these individuals had jobs, homes, and families. Now, they navigate a system that has failed them, where food insecurity is not just a statistic, but a daily battle. With shelters overwhelmed and food assistance programs stretched thin, many have no choice but to rely on what others throw away. The irony is cruel. Restaurants discard untouched meals. Grocery stores throw away expired but edible food. And yet, people starve just outside their doors. The question remains, how did we arrive at a place where this has become their reality? And more importantly, how long will we allow it to continue? Number 4. Why is this happening? The root causes. The homelessness crisis in Iowa in 2025 is not a sudden catastrophe. It is the result of years of systemic neglect, economic instability, and policy failures. The cracks in the system have widened, pushing thousands into the streets with little hope of escape. One of the biggest contributors is the lack of affordable housing. As rental prices skyrocket and wages fail to keep pace, more families find themselves unable to afford a place to live. The availability of low-income housing has dwindled, leaving many with no choice but to sleep in shelters or on footpaths. Economic instability has further fueled the crisis. Job losses, inflation, and the rising cost of living have made it nearly impossible for low-income individuals to maintain stability. Many who were once financially secure have been pushed into homelessness due to sudden layoffs or medical emergencies that drained their savings. Another critical factor is the failure of mental health services. Many homeless individuals struggle with untreated mental illnesses, yet access to proper care remains limited. With underfunded programs and overwhelmed facilities, those in need are often left without support, leading them to self-medicate with drugs and alcohol, trapping them in a cycle of addiction and homelessness. Government policies have also played a role. While some initiatives aim to reduce homelessness, they often lack the funding and infrastructure needed to make a real impact. In 2025, Iowa has seen debates over legislation that could penalize homeless individuals rather than provide them with solutions. The consequences of these failures are painfully clear. Families torn apart, individuals lost in addiction, and a growing population of people forced to survive in conditions no human should endure. The question remains, how long can this continue before change becomes unavoidable? Number 5. Faces behind the numbers. In 2025, Iowa's homelessness crisis is more than just a growing statistic. It's a collection of shattered lives, each with a story of loss, resilience, and survival. Behind every number is a person who once had dreams, stability, and hope, only to find themselves battling the harsh realities of life on the streets. Meet Julie, a woman who never imagined she would end up homeless. After her mother passed away, she lost everything: her home, her financial security, and her sense of stability. Now she lives in a homeless camp, struggling to find a way out. Then there's Jack, a teenager who aged out of foster care with nowhere to go. Without a support system, he was left to fend for himself, navigating a world that seemed to have no place for him. Like many others in his situation, he quickly learned that finding a job without an address is nearly impossible, trapping him in a cycle of homelessness. Clara, a single mother, lost her home after a medical emergency drained her savings. With no financial safety net, she and her children were forced onto the streets, relying on shelters that are already overwhelmed and unable to accommodate the growing number of displaced families. These are not isolated cases. They are part of a larger crisis affecting thousands across Iowa. Many homeless individuals are not just struggling with poverty, but also battling mental health issues, addiction, and systemic barriers that prevent them from rebuilding their lives. The numbers may be staggering. How long will society continue to ignore them? Number 6. Who's fighting back? Community and hope. In 2025, as Iowa's homelessness crisis deepens, a wave of resilience and compassion rises to meet it. Amid the despair, there are individuals and organizations working tirelessly to bring relief, hope, and lasting change. Volunteers are the backbone of these efforts, distributing food, clothing, and essential supplies to those in need. Across the state, community kitchens and outreach programs ensure that no one goes hungry, offering warm meals and a sense of dignity to those who have lost everything. Shelters, though overwhelmed, continue to provide temporary refuge. Many have expanded their services, offering mental health support, addiction recovery programs, and job placement assistance. Yet, the demand far exceeds the available resources, leaving many without a safe place to sleep. Activists and advocacy groups are pushing for policy changes, demanding increased funding for affordable housing and stronger protections for the homeless. In January 2025, the Iowa Finance Authority allocated $5.7 million to support homelessness assistance initiatives, helping 48 agencies provide critical services. Additionally, emergency relief funds have been directed toward disaster-impacted areas, ensuring that those displaced by storms and economic hardships receive aid. Despite these efforts, the crisis demands more than goodwill. It requires systemic action. Without long-term solutions, such as expanded housing programs and comprehensive mental health care, homelessness will continue to rise. The fight is far from over, but the dedication of those working on the front lines proves that change is possible. The question remains, will society step up before it's too late? Iowa's homelessness crisis in 2025 is a reflection of deep societal failures. Thousands struggle for shelter, food, and dignity, while systems meant to protect them fall short. Though communities and advocates are fighting back, real change requires urgent action. The question remains, how long will we let this crisis continue before we do something about it? And that's a wrap on today's documentary. The reality of Iowa's homelessness crisis in 2025 is devastating, but change starts with awareness, and with you. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to Globe Path Travel Documentary so you never miss important stories like this. We want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments. What surprised you the most about this crisis? What do you think can be done? Your voice matters, and together we can start conversations that lead to change. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next journey.